All right, we're going to start this Delta Math video on one-step equations type 1. So one-step equations, we know there's more than one way to solve. Some of them are pretty intuitive, like this one, for example. You might see right off the bat that t equals 7. But we want to make sure that we keep in mind that when we are solving equations, we're always thinking about those inverses, right? So 1 plus t. Our goal is to isolate the variable, get t all by itself. So we're going to do that by subtracting 1. And if I do it to one side of my equal sign, I have to do it to both because I'm using that subtraction property of equality. Right, so I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. So 8 minus 1 gives me 7. 1 minus 1 is 0. And I know 0 plus t is just equal to t, so 7 equals t. And I can go ahead and check my work by plugging back into my original equation. 8 equals 1 plus t. I'm going to plug in a 7 for my t and make sure that my equation stays balanced. So 1 plus 7, that equals 8, and 8 equals 8 is a true statement, so it does in fact stay balanced. All right, let's hop over to Delta Math. We're going to say t equals 7, click submit. Yep. And it liked it. Let's see if it gives us another type of problem here. All addition with okay, well, here's one with a negative, right? So 2 equals negative 1 plus n, right? So again, if I have 2 equals negative 1 plus n, it might be pretty intuitive that what n is going to equal, but if it's not, that's okay because we want to really practice using our properties of equality to solve. So we're going to do the opposite of this minus 1 that's attached to our n by adding. And the reason we do that is so that way it becomes 0. When we're using those properties of equality, we're trying to make those ones and zeros, right? When you add 0, it disappears from your equation. It's no longer affecting your number. And when you multiply by 1, it's no longer affecting your number, right? So 2 plus 1 gives me 3. Negative 1 plus 1 gives me 0. And so 0 plus n, that just equals n, so 3 equals n. And again, if I want to check my work, I can just plug back in. 2 equals negative 1 plus 3. Negative 1 plus 3 gives me 2. 2 does in fact equal 2. That's a true statement. And voila, we have solved that equation. All right, if we come back over here, we type in our 3. Now something that Delta Math does interesting, I think if we type in n equals 3, it will tell us this question is not expecting an equation. Please type in an algebraic or numerical expression that represents the answer. So what that's saying is, hey, don't write it as an equation, just write the number. Is that right? Yes. And that is solving one-step equations.